So on the 2nd of May 2023, the government announced that from the 1st of July 2026, there'll be changes to when employers need to pay superannuation contributions. So from the 1st of July 2026, employers will now need to pay superannuation contributions on the same day as payday. There is some leeway to that. It doesn't need to be on the same day as payday. It's generally within 7 days from payday. That's different to the laws that are currently in place, which require employers to make superannuation contributions at least once a quarter. So there are a variety of reasons for the change. Mostly, if employers are required to pay super more regularly, it means that employees are going to see their superannuation funds grow in real time. It also may mean that for employees, it's easier to keep track of whether their superannuation contributions are being paid correctly and on time, because they can easily calculate based on their pay what the superannuation contribution for that pay period should be, rather than having to calculate what a quarterly contribution would look like. What it also means for employers is that there's more of an opportunity for employers to ascertain whether they've missed a superannuation payment or whether they've paid superannuation contributions late. Currently, and moving forward as well, there's quite a high penalty and admin fee that's associated with late superannuation payments. So any system that enables employers to reduce the risk of late superannuation payments is going to be better for business. Superannuation contributions aren't required to be paid on all types of wages or salary, or all components of wages or salary, only those considered ordinary time earnings. That hasn't changed, but what the new laws have introduced is a new concept which is called qualifying earnings. So it's a broader category or a broader definition of the types of earnings which attract superannuation. So qualifying earnings include ordinary time earnings, but also include salary sacrifice contributions and also any other component of wages or salary which attract superannuation. Most employers are already well underway in terms of preparing for these new Payday Super changes. If you're not, there's obviously still time. I would recommend that you speak to your payroll team and your payroll software provider to make sure that your systems are set up to accommodate for these changes. At the moment, most payroll software providers are able to have an option for employers to choose as to how regularly they want superannuation contribution payments to be made, and most software providers will remove from those options the ability to choose to pay superannuation on a quarterly basis. And it's also a good time to review your payroll provider and make sure that there are no additional tweaks or amendments you need to make to the system in order to make processing superannuation smoother. So some of the questions that employers can also ask their payroll providers are things like, how easy is it for the system to update superannuation details? What happens if a superannuation payment is missed? Is there something in the system that's going to bring that to the employer's attention so that they can rectify that late or missed super payment as soon as possible? And also, how easy is it for employees to be able to change their superannuation details if they need to? The ATO website is a really useful starting point. It sets out the reason behind why these changes were introduced and some really useful and important information about ensuring compliance with those changes. The ATO has also released a draft compliance guide, which they're going to consider implementing within the first year that the Payday Super changes are going to be implemented, so over the period of the 1st of July 2026 to the 1st of July 2027. And that guide provides that the ATO is going to look at 3 different zones from a compliance perspective. So the low risk zone, the medium zone, and the high risk zone. So employers who fall in that low risk zone are those who are able to comply with the new payday changes or only have small amounts of superannuation that they might have missed, or otherwise some small non-compliance issues. The medium zone will be for employers who have missed some superannuation payments or who haven't complied entirely with the new superannuation laws, but are able to remediate any shortfall in superannuation within the first 28 days from the end of the quarter in which the superannuation should have been paid. And then the high risk zone will be for those employers who are not able to remediate any superannuation shortfalls within that 28-day period. And the compliance guide sets out that the ATO's focus in terms of their resourcing will be looking at that high risk zone. So there is some leniency in the sense that the ATO understands it will take some time, especially for small businesses, to ensure that their operations are running smoothly so that they can comply with these new changes. But there's only a certain amount of grace. So it would be really good to ensure that you take the steps you need to take to ensure that you're not within that high risk red zone. And if you need more assistance, as I said, the ATO website is a really useful starting point. Have a look at their draft compliance guide, and if you need legal assistance, reach out to us.